Ooh.
Hey everybody, this is your friendly neighborhood tech troublemaker, and tonight we're going to talk about multi-channel madness. Why would anybody want to host multiple channels on YouTube? Should you host multiple channels? What are your pain points? And we've got an amazing person on here tonight. We have got Mikey on here from Creedence and the Bishop Show. Yeah.
Look at that. Listen to that crowd go wild. I'm
I
excited
know.
to be here.
They're
Excited
awesome. There are so many people in the chat. We're going to do our best to reach out to you guys and get as many on the screen as we can. But definitely, I want to thank you so much for being on here tonight.
I want to thank you. You've done a great service by helping these channels out. Like mine, not everything you say is useful to me, but there's nuggets in there and all of your streams that different content creators could use. And I wanted to thank you, and you were nice enough to ask me on. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You didn't, and I haven't paid him anything to say nice things, so we'll just have to figure out his motives later. So, I want to show you why I wanted him on here. So he has 5 channels. So here we are. This is the Creedence and Bishop Show. This is We've Got a Chase.
Yeah.
This is We Got a Case.
Wow, I see it. See a trend coming?
Yes, we got a jackpot, and then Poor Sports League. Now,
Yeah.
I guess the only comment I had is that unfortunately your channels are not catching humans at their best. So.
No. But yet at the same time we're catching humans. So I mean that's a good thing. The multiple channels, it's one of those things where you're constantly deciding you want to do more. You want to do more and you want to do more. And sometimes that's a good idea and sometimes it's bad. We'll see.
Yeah.
In a year from now, we'll definitely know one way or the other.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely getting a kick out of your channel because I like, after you were on mine, I saw you in the chat. And I'm like, hey, I need to talk to that guy. And I went and watched all your channels. And I really have watched all the car chases. And obviously your audience does as well. And so that's just a trip to me. So tell me kind of what got started. What was your origin of kind of creating content like this? What started that for you?
I mean, basically the kickoff was COVID. I have to thank COVID for this one. It allowed more people to be on YouTube because you had Zoom had come to the forefront. Everybody knew what that was. And I had some old friends that I'd been in radio with that we used to do a fantastic radio show back in the day. And I was itching for nostalgia. I need to stretch my creative legs. So I got up with all those guys. We agreed that we would try and do the old radio show once a week. And we did. We started kicking that off. It was, we were killing it. We had like 30 people one time. Another time we had like almost 80. I mean, things were going great. I'm not going to lie to you. I think we had maybe 100 subscribers up to that point. And, we were probably 6 months in. So none of us knew what we were doing. None of us had the computers. We didn't have the really good cameras or anything like that. And so we were just having fun. One day, Creed and I were talking. We both kind of worked from home at that point, and we have a love for car chases. We really enjoy them. He would always call me and say, hey man, we got a chase. There's a chase going. We'd watch them together or whatever. He'd tell me how I could find it. And we'd sit and we'd laugh and just have a good time. And then one day out of the blue, we're like, let's go live with this chase. We don't know what the rules are. We're not monetized. We're not making any money. We didn't know any of the rules for YouTube. So we did the broadcast. We basically just had fun, just like we would do if we weren't on the air. And people were there. I was like, wow, there's an audience for this. Now, were they there for the chase? Probably. Did they care that we were there? Maybe some of them. But it become an idea. I was like, okay, if we take these chases, we can get exposure for our other show, the Creedence and Bishop Show, the old radio show. Not thinking in our minds that it was going to turn into something that it's become now, where, We Got a Chase has become the nucleus of that. We don't even do the old radio show anymore. So that's why there's a Creedence and Bishop Show channel that had all these chases and stuff on it. And it seemed like, here we are, we're dumping all this content into this. We're just doing these live chases. And I mean, you can't predict those, you never when those are going to happen. So I said, how about we build a show, like a television show, like Cops or anything else? We'll put it together. We'll do a little production. I can learn how to do Adobe Spark or something and make us some little logos or whatever. And that was where that seed was planted, where we decided we would just build onto that and build onto that and build on it. And it's become the show it is now at 4:05, 5 days a week. We do it. And because we enjoy what we do, we decided we would build from that and try and do other things. Now, some things did well, some things didn't. But we built that audience that was there, and we knew they were going to be there for the chases, but then we found out they'd be there for other things and other things and other things. And it wasn't so much that they were the chase fans. They are our family. I can't call them fans. They're our family. They mean so much to me. They are the backbone of everything we do. I'm blessed that we have them. And we sold them on us. It was a concept of, it's not so much the chase. It's not so much the court or anything else that we're doing. It has to be about these guys caring about us and what we have to say, and the silliness that goes on. Sometimes we're serious when it needs to be serious, but most of the time we're just being silly. We're just having a good time. We've been called immature. We've been called all kinds of things by the sweet people on the internet. But at the same time, we have a core audience of people who love us and enjoy it. Don't want us to change at all. All these beautiful people you see right here, these are the backbone of what we do. And it blossomed from there. It just turned into, doing so much more stuff. It just made sense at one point we would start to branch out. And that's why eventually we got a chase channel that we've been building.
Yeah.
We got 11,000 on Creedence and Bishop Show subscriber wise. We've got 4,600, I think, over on We Got Chase. And so everybody tells us, you can't do so many different things on one channel. And we want to do a lot of different things. So that's allowed us to make sense of having multiple channels. Oh, look at all these great people.
I know. Yeah, I was going to say your audience is amazing. I mean, as soon as you told them about you being on my show, I just want to say I'm humbled by all of you that came over here to watch tonight. So thank you. Thank you so much for that. You guys are absolutely amazing, and definitely want to shout out to my audience that's normally here as well. Thank you for being here, because you guys make this the most fun. So how did you, and so that diversification, so to speak, of creating those all different channels. I mean, first of all, what possessed you to do that? And then how do you manage them?
It was a natural progression. I felt like, I look at most YouTubers, they do one show a week. Sometimes people do one show a month. And that's why I think a lot of times when I was trying to get help, I was watching vidIQ, or I'm over here using TubeBuddy, and all the advice that I got from all those different places where I seen people, it just didn't apply to me. It didn't. So a lot of times it was, trial and error. We just kept going, and branching off into more channels was I guess like a cause and effect of YouTube giving us we ended up getting a strike. And it was for something that we were watching old copyright free, very old movies that are like public domain movies. And I am a huge fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000, Riff Tracks. If you've ever heard any of that stuff, huge fan of that. So I wanted to watch movies and do those kinds of things too. And we got a strike for using a movie that is all over YouTube, everywhere. I mean, it's an old movie. And I tried to talk to YouTube, and they have no answers for me except for, no, your appeal has been denied. And to find out anything beyond that, or to actually talk like me and you are to someone, is impossible. And it's very daunting to small channels that are trying to build an audience, that they got to say, hey, we're done for 3 weeks or 2 weeks or a week or whatever it might be the case. So we decided, well, if we're going to get in trouble on this channel, we're going to have a backup channel.
Yeah.
So we wanted to not miss out on doing We Got a Chase. So I said, let's build another channel. So when this channel's in trouble for no reason whatsoever, we'll have somewhere to go and everyone can join us there. That was the logic behind that. Now, as we branched out and did more things, in the back of my mind, I said, eventually one day this is going to become its own channel too, because YouTube is narrow-minded as far as like looking at what you're doing content-wise and saying, okay, this is what this guy is. And you look over here and they're like, oh yeah, this is what this guy is. Well, if you're doing more than one thing and you're clicking more than one box, they don't know where to put you. So I didn't want us to get drowned by the algorithm because it didn't know where to put us. So I said, well, as each thing grows and becomes its own thing over here, because we'll basically look at Creedence and Bishop Show YouTube channel as the greenhouse.
Yeah.
We plant the seeds, we grow it, we get it to where it needs to be, and then we take it out of the greenhouse and we plant it in the ground. You know, it becomes its own place. Once it can stand on its own legs, we'll eventually probably stop doing it over on Creedence and Bishop Show and come up with something else we want to do and cultivate that idea. We're doing 12 shows at least a week. 2 of those are members only. We have memberships we sell over on Creedence and Bishop Show. We have memberships that we're selling over on We Got a Chase, which we didn't want to do, but it was demanded and it became necessary when we had we lost monetization on our original channel of Creedence and Bishop Show, which I had to appeal and lose and then continue to fight over on Twitter. But now I know how that game works. It's very scary. And if anyone's listening and they lose monetization or they feel like they're, just drowning under all of it, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You're just going to have to really crawl through the muck to get there. Something like Shawshank Redemption. You got to crawl through that pipe of poop before you can bust it out, like Andy the Frame. So I mean, it's a lot. It's very daunting, and it's I don't know how a lot of people do it. I mean, I'm working on this, full time. Creed's running his business and joining me for the shows because we split the work where I'm putting together basically the content and stuff. And like I told him, I said, I need, until this is making the kind of money that would, give us both a good living, we have to, figure out and divvy it up where we work different ways. So I'm busy working on content and trying to create stuff. And I'm really tough on myself about that. Like I could put together a list of chases for tomorrow and go back and change it 30 minutes before the show goes live. Why? Because I'm just like, that's just not good enough. Yeah. I want to make sure I'm giving the audience the best they could possibly get. And, it's not always the case, but it's a learning experience. It really is. Everybody needs to, going into doing multiple channels means, really not having any days off too. Because, I'm doing shows over here. That means on my days off, I got to do shows up on, the other channels or work nights and things like that. So there's been days we've had like 12-hour days or something like that. Yeah. We've had a 6-hour chase one time we had to cover. Wow. We didn't have to, but we feel like, we owe that to our audience to be there. If they want us there, we're there. If it's only 10 people, we're there. We're not a huge channel. We're by any stretch of the imagination, but because of the people who are here supporting us, we're able to get to where we're at right now.
And definitely. So, I mean, what's your process for finding all the content that you use for your shows? I mean,
that's a tough one because
okay,
if you've ever tried to use YouTube to look up something, it loves to give you one thing over and over and over again. So you can't just type in police chase, you know. So when we first started out, when we do the show, we'd only watch 2 chases. The show would be like 20 minutes and be over. But we started consuming more and more. So the amount of material that's available for you to find easily is very limited. So there's no exaggeration that I would spend 3, 4, 5 hours just searching out 5 or 6 videos that we can use, simply because we're consuming so much that's out there that's easily defined. Then we have to, it's like we're looking for, dinosaur bones. We're digging and digging and digging because you have to keep looking for that next gem. And luckily, more and more chase channels are showing up, which has helped us a lot. Arkansas, everybody talks about, California being the chase capital of the world. Well, it's that way because they have the most helicopters, news helicopters, to cover the chases. But there's other parts of the country that have so many amazing chases. Arkansas has just jumped to the forefront right now, as far as I'm concerned, as the chase. If you want to see the craziest chases, that's the state you need to be watching. California doesn't chase people hardly much anymore, it seems like. And it's a process of finding videos, then going through, making sure the video doesn't have something that's going to get hit as, age restricted. Once you find those, then it's a matter of, a lot of times it might be an hour. The chase is an hour long. And I know good and well in my mind, it's not. So there's all this stuff where the car's pulled over and this and this. So I have to take them, I'll download them. Then I just start cutting them up, which is a process I had to learn. I had never edited videos before. Never, ever. I didn't know how to hardly download a video, let alone edit one. So you got to go through and edit all that, cut it up, make sure it's, what you need. You have to then build a timeline of how long you want the show to be that day. Because most of the time I know we're going to stop. We're going to talk about it. We're going to rewind it. We're going to, something, or we'll have some sort of technical mishap, which happens all the time. And so I know I've got to give us a little wiggle room, and, to consume as many videos as we have. I'm really surprised we haven't run out with, and that's another reason why we decided we're going to start covering, like news stories as well. Some of the most outrageous news stories you've ever seen. It might be a car chase, or it might be a lady that's, tried to build a bomb in Walmart out of stuff she was finding around Walmart. It's just, there's so many of those stories out there, and it's, to be able to work those in has made my life so much easier. It's allowed me a lot more free time because I can find that kind of stuff a lot more readily. So if I can sandwich a chase here and a chase here, and then have all this filler of all this other stuff in the middle that's just as good, I feel like I've done my job.
I was going to say, I noticed Arkansas is big on your channel. That's
huge.
Something crazy about Arkansas.
And it's just happened. It's just recently happened. And we found out from some of the other chase channels, which some of the chase channels, I will say this about the YouTube community real fast. Some of the people on YouTube are fantastic. Some of the nicest people we ever met, and they get and understand what we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. No, we're not a serious, player in the chase world, but they understand what we're trying to do. They get what we're doing, because if you don't get the idea, you don't get the joke, you're not going to enjoy the show. Like, well, these guys are the rudest people I've ever seen in my entire life. You got to be in on the joke so you can enjoy it. But to the channels that are out there that don't get it, it's made it very difficult to use content. But we found out that if you don't live in Arkansas, you cannot get any chase material about Arkansas. So you have to basically request those chases. You have to say, I want to, get a release. Here's the release and everything. They give it to you. If you don't live in Arkansas, you're not getting them. Other states don't care where you're at. They'll give you whatever, but Arkansas, they don't play around. You better be from Arkansas if you want those chases. It's not going to happen.
And I was joking yesterday. It's like I love that the helicopters in California, how they have that software that shows the names of the streets. So
Oh,
I was
nothing
like,
but money. Nothing but money. I mean, they're just spending millions and millions of dollars to do these chases and things like that. So, and the rest of the country doesn't have it. They just don't have the resources to cover it. So we
yeah,
miss out. People ask me all the time, Mikey, what's the greatest chase that's ever happened? I said, one that didn't make it to the air, that we've never seen, that never, just like who's the greatest basketball player? Some guy that never played in the NBA, some guy that never got that chance. That's
yeah.
probably the guy that it was the greatest. So to say it's something is the greatest and not the greatest, it's up to the eye of the beholder at the end of the day.
Definitely. So, I mean, you mentioned about the monetization. What are some of the biggest challenges that you've had? First of all, just trying to run one channel, let alone try to run 5. Definitely you mentioned about the monetization issues you've had. What are some of the biggest challenges you've had that maybe other folks have experienced, and the headaches you've gone through and how you overcame them?
As far as like dealing with monetization, it's one of those things where, you don't think you're ever going to get to it. You're like, oh, I need 4,000 hours. I need 1,000 subscribers. And that is a huge number. You think of as a number, it's huge. But if you really get in there and just start working, because me and Creed, our whole thing has just been, if we can outwork everybody else, our content might not be the best. We might not be the best host. We might not have the best equipment. But if we can get in here and outwork everybody else, we'll get somewhere. And that was one of the biggest hurdles of just, getting the idea of what we're going to do. Get over that hurdle of, the amount of work we needed to do to get where we were. Monetization has been difficult because you never know how long it's going to be there. They can take it from you, drop of a hat. As far as like when you go to monetize a video, if you've never done it, you go and you click it and you're like, okay, cool. It's on. It's got the green dollar sign. We're going to be rolling into money, bud. Well, next time you go back to look at it, you're like, wait a minute, this turned yellow. How did this happen? And you're like, oh, well, why is this video limited?
Yeah.
And then why is this video okay? And the video, I mean, I'm not saying our videos are got any content that shouldn't be monetized fully. Yeah. But you're like, this one is monetized fully. This one is not. How is this even possible? So to understand the guidelines that they are setting forth on what can and cannot be monetized fully, because if you're getting limited, you might as well not even, you're not making any money. You might make a couple pennies or something, unless you're some huge, massive channel where you're making millions of views on each and every one of your videos. Dealing with trolls has been tough. It doesn't bother me because, at the end of the day, I feel like we do a good job, but dealing with people that make it their life's mission, all they want to do is tell you how bad you are, or how, just run you down just day in and day out. That is their life's mission, to tell you what you're doing wrong. And if you want to have success, you need to do it this way. You shouldn't be doing that. Cut that off. Never do that again. And then I say, okay, this guy's got an idea. So I'll go and I'll look at their YouTube channel. I'm like, they don't have a YouTube channel, but they have all this advice. They know all these things of the keys to success that will get you to where you need to be, but yet they've never done it. Yeah. Until you do this, until you get into this, you don't understand the process that it is. It is a very strenuous process, but the rewards that you get from your audience make it all worth it. It really, really does. It gives you such satisfaction. But dealing with the constant, what are we going to do next? That is stressful. Like, I'm thinking 2 days ahead all the time. And the worry of, anything from, like, if this computer breaks tomorrow right here.
Yeah.
I'm not a rich man. I'm not going to run out and buy a brand new one. I got to justify that. But you're always worried that you're going to get the rug pulled out from under you at any given moment. It's been different because I feel like we do things so different than anybody else. Like all the advice that I would get from different channels and stuff, and all the things they tell me I should be doing, it seems like we didn't do any of them. We kind of just went, by the seat of our pants and said, we'll just do this and see what happens. And we've been so lucky. I mean, I'm going to say we've been so lucky because I don't think it's like everybody can do that. I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a secret sauce that I don't know about. We haven't found it yet. I still get nervous when we go live. I get that feeling in my stomach, like, oh, gonna blow it. We're gonna lay a big old poop right here. It's gonna be terrible. Somebody's gonna come in and make Creed mad, and he's gonna start yelling at him. I mean, it becomes one of those things where are you still gonna do it? Yes, because once you get in it, it's just so amazing. But that nervousness never goes away, and it never will, hopefully, because as long as you're nervous, it means that you really care, that you're really excited, and you want it. And I'm a perfectionist that cannot achieve perfection. I'm so far from that. But something people should always know too is don't look at everybody else's channel. Don't compare yourself like, oh, I need to do this. This so-and-so had this going on, so wasn't touching their face, or they didn't sneeze, or whatever there's going on. It's all right to be you. It's okay to go out there and be different from the other 50,000 channels you looked at that day. You don't need the most expensive things, because it's your content and you that's going to bring people back, not how nice your lighting is, or how great your computer's running, or whatever, that your dog's not barking in the background. I think people know you have a dog by now, or you got a cat that walks through the screen. It's okay. It's all right.
Authentic. It's authenticity. People could spot fake a mile away. You guys, you've been doing this for a long time. You got a comfort level, and you guys are relaxed. But I'm with you. You got to have that nervousness. Mm-hmm. Nervousness to me is that strive for perfection, that you want everything to go as the best it possibly could. And if you get to the point where you're not nervous, you're not going to try. You're not going to put the effort in. No. So I think I love having that nervous feeling. I love that adrenaline rush when I hit that go live button, and you guys seem to have that exact same thing. So, definitely, love the energy you guys have and the commentary you guys have back and forth. And your community is fantastic. And like,
to be able to join like family every day, these people, what they're all about, you their ins and outs, and they know all the little tricks that you're going to give them, of the the catchphrases, or just the looks, or we had come across the point of like, we've seen all these other YouTube channels. They're all like, they got the money train going, the money train's going down the tracks, they got so I like, we can't afford to have a money train. Only thing we can get is a monetary monorail. So we just, everybody else can have all the money trains they want, because we have a monetary monorail that we're going to put up. And we try to, talk to people and include people, because I see so many channels where like, so-and-so sent them, $1,000, and they're like, thank you, Jacob in Idaho. Thanks, man. And just going on about their business. Somebody sent me $1,000. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna go crazy. This guy must be rich as can be. He's like, thank you for the $50, Samantha. So I'm like, why are these people not more excited? Why are they not more appreciative of these people? Yeah. And it seems like a lot of people nowadays, maybe it's the old guy in me, I don't know. But I enjoy being entertained. I enjoy somebody that, I want to make other people feel good. Because there's days I feel terrible. There's days I might, have anxiety, or I might be depressed. But when that camera comes on, I can turn it on, I can go. And by the end of the stream, I feel better. I feel better that I've made other people laugh. I've made other people, happy, or they've looked forward to something we're doing. And when we can get in there and we can really hit on all cylinders, I mean, it really does feel good. You get off the stream, you're like, wow, that really went well. And there's going to be days that it goes awful. It could go terrible. But you got to look at the next time. You got to be ready for that next stream, because you want to get out there and you want to improve. I mean, there's tons of room for improvement, always. And you want to evolve. But you're talking about challenges and stuff. I get into this. I watch all these. If you watch enough videos, you need to be able to know tags. You need to know how to, the SEO score needs to be 100, and all these things I knew nothing about. Nothing. So I tried to play by those rules, and it didn't work. So when I started not dealing with those kinds of things, like the tags or the SEO score and stuff like that, now I'm hearing none of those things mattered. I spent 2 years learning that stupid stuff because now it doesn't matter. But it is the evolution of all this as it continues to grow and change. You got to grow and change with it, or you're just going to get left behind. So, and all these things, all the stuff as far as like that goes. And they sell you a little bit of something when you come into this YouTube world. They're like, you need to do it this way and nothing else. No, you can get it all done. You can do it yourself. If we can do it, anyone can do it. I promise you, anyone can do it. If you want it bad enough, if you push enough, you can have 1,000 subscribers. You'll get that 4,000 hours. It's just a matter of being patient. It's not going to happen overnight. Yeah. It's just not. It doesn't work that way. Nothing that lasts forever is going to work that way.
Yeah, not at all. The other thing that makes me crazy is there's so many people out there. I jokingly call them snake oil salesmen. Hey, let me tell you, and you buy my course, and I'm going to tell you all the secrets. Every video you'll do will be viral after this. And I talked to a lot of people take those courses, and I haven't seen those viral videos yet. So you might. It's kind of like the analogy of the blind squirrel. Occasionally will get a nut. So maybe you look up and one day, ooh, this video I did's viral. And then you're caught on the hamster wheel, because then, oh man, I've got to top that. I mean, do you ever feel like this is just like a huge hamster wheel, and you're just trying to keep it spinning, And
it is, and when you're dealing with trying to make everyone happy, you can't do that. It's not going to happen. You're not going to make everybody happy. Not everybody's going to like you. You got to kind of build up a thick skin with that. But it's the nonstop, striving to find that sweet spot where you're going to get, next thing you look up and there's 10,000 people watching or whatever like that. That we've never had that. I think the most we've had on a live stream on screen at one time was like 2,000, just a little over 2,000 people. We've had videos that, would last, 45 minutes and get 10,000 views, in that 45 minutes. Then the next day you come in and you might have 1,000 views, Yeah. So it's the consistency with stuff like this is, don't expect that once you achieve a level that's the level. Now we're at this level. No, it's not going to happen, because the algorithm is like the ocean. Some days you're at the top of the wave, and some days you're at the bottom, at the absolute bottom. Yeah. And no matter what we would do, we're not going to get viewers. You're not going to bring in people that could be subscribed to your channel won't even know you had something come out that day. Yeah. So we're at the point where we send out, when we do the show, it goes to Facebook, it goes to YouTube, of course. It's over on, because you can send it over to Twitch, Twitter. We were trying D Live, but that's just like, I don't know what's going on over there. It's like a graveyard. I don't know.
No idea what that is.
So we gave up on that, and we send it over to our LinkedIn, so that it's over there. But like you were saying, now they're making it possible where you can start streaming live over on Instagram, which would be huge for us. That'd be a great asset to be able to do that, because that it opens up the world to a whole nother audience.
It does. You're still gonna have the challenge of the 9:16 aspect ratio, but yeah, they're opening it up, and you'll be able to go out there and live stream soon. It's coming for everybody eventually, but right now it's kind of hey, Marcus, yes, you should be sleeping now because it's way early where you're at. Mikey out of jail. By the way, you have a huge fan club. Everybody has raving about you. Yeah, and they're tripping out about your green screen. They haven't seen you with a green screen.
They've never seen that before. No, they haven't. That's something they've never ever seen ever.
We got to get you, like a virtual camera so you can add effects behind there. So it's my software. You can blame me if Mikey doesn't look his best. It's all my fault. So
they're used to either see me in jail or see me in a library, or perhaps even in a burning house behind me. It just really depends on what show I'm doing at that time.
Yeah.
But and that's the part of the fun stuff. These people know the different things we do. They know all the the ins and outs. And even if you're doing this right now and you've got 5 subscribers, or maybe you have no subscribers, and you say, I'm doing a show for nobody. You're not doing a show for nobody. You're doing it for yourself first, because that's who the first person has to be that you're doing it for, is yourself, that you're going to get something out of it. If you're looking to get rich or you're looking to get famous, you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
You got to do it because you love either entertaining people, educating people, or helping people.
Yes.
You're in the people business. At the end of the day, we're all in the people business. And that's people don't look at it that way. I know I hate to say, oh, you should enjoy yourself, but it's a business. Yeah, we had to set up an LLC 2 years ago, just because we didn't know what else to do but do that. I watched a video and it said set up an LLC, so I did it. If the video tells me to do it, by God, I'll try it.
It's the
so
internet.
It really is. It becomes that way, and we pick up people from and it seems like each person knows where they first saw us and where we met. It's almost like, remember our first date, and they'll be able to tell you, yes, I found you guys on like Carol that was just in the chat. Carol, I can tell you exactly where I met Carol. Carol was one of the people who came in during the 6-hour chase. 6 hours. Now this was 6. It was nighttime already in California. Me and Creed are on the East Coast, which a lot of California chase people hate that we're not in California. We should be in California for the chase business. And it's like 4 o'clock in the morning here at that point. We're 5 hours in. Carol comes in and she sends over a dono for $25. At that point, no one has sent us more than $5. And so our minds were blown away that somebody had sent us $25. It still blows me away to this day when everybody sends us 99 cents, that they are willing to support us in a way that we can continue doing what we're doing, because without them, we couldn't. The amount of money, I think I saw the other day, we had made from our YouTube premium and ads and everything, we had made like $35 this month. You can't live off that. You're not going to make anything with that. But these people coming in and legitimately caring about what we're doing, willing to put down their hard-earned money. And I know it's all hard-earned money, or some of these people are retired. We have people who are disabled and things like that. Maybe they're under the weather. They might be sick. That's why they're watching a lot. We lost a lady last year who had passed. She passed away, and she was a huge fan of ours. And it impacted me deeply, because I knew that this lady cared about what we did. So I couldn't be so callous that I didn't care that this lady had passed away.
Yeah.
So you get that connection when you have a very deep-rooted audience, that you care about them. And when you don't see them from day to day, and life goes on, you lose people, you get people, you lose people, you get people. But life goes on, and you have to. Creed is daddy. Yes, I am stepdaddy. I'll let you do more. Creed will make you eat your peas. I will not. I'll just scrape them off the plate or hide them under the mashed potatoes. And it's a fact of just, continue to connect with everybody and making them a part of the show. If they are the show, without them, we don't record anything. Everything we do is live, and that comes from radio. These headphones I'm wearing right now, I don't have to. I'm sure I could hook up everything a different way where I didn't have to use these headphones. But because I've come from radio and Creed comes from radio, we wear headphones. Why? Because that's what we did in radio. It's a hard habit to break. You feel naked without it. It becomes you just don't feel the same when you don't have them on. So, you become a creature of habit. You've got these things, and the process. You got to figure. There's no magic bullet for the process. You got to figure out your own personal process. Because it's not going to work for everybody, especially if you're not doing the same channel everybody else is doing. Yeah, I know there's a million reaction channels. I didn't even know there was we got accused of stealing another guy's gimmick. We'll call it a gimmick. I'm from the wrestling world. I thought about wrestling. I dealt with wrestlers. I did a wrestling report on the radio for many years. We got accused of stealing. There's a channel called Smoke and Scan. I had no idea. I've never heard of it until, I told you I didn't even watch YouTube until really we were deep into it. And people would come back, well, you're stealing his thing. He watches car chases at night. Yeah, he watches live car chases. This is true. He talks about it. This is true. But we do watch the live car chases. So you got us there. But we also do a compilation show basically every single day. We put together a compilation of chases. We started theming days. We really went all in on just familiarizing people. And that's why we themed the days, because people would be like, oh, it's Monday. It's Mini Chase Monday. It's Wednesday. It's Wild Woman Wednesday. They get it in their head that this is the time. This is the day. You do it consistently every single day at the same time. It's not training people, but it gives them that idea of like, oh, it pops in their head. I should be watching this. It's 4:05. I need to watch this. A lot of our audience are just lurkers where they don't talk to us. They just sit back, they watch, they don't have anything to say. And that's fine too. But the chat is very welcoming. They can be spicy at times. They get in and they get real spicy. But, at the end of the day, they're all good people. You got, like I said, you deal with the trolls and things like that. I know you've dealt with them. We deal with them. It's a part of doing this business, So, you're going to have people saying you're ripping off this person. You're doing this. You should. So-and-so said this, or so-and-so did it this way. It doesn't work like that. You do it your way that makes you comfortable, and that comfortability is going to come through the screen, and that's going to be so much more valuable to you than you learning to do it the way so-and-so did it. And until you get that's that sweet spot. Like I talk about, you gotta get that sweet spot, you gotta get in that groove. That's the groove you need to get into to continue on to the next stage, the next place.
Yeah, it reminds me of Kung Fu Panda. You are the secret ingredient. It's
it's what it is.
Another channel could show the exact same car chase, but it's the commentary that you guys have that gets people to watch it, and the fact that you guys are so awesome interacting with your community like that. It's who knows what the other guy's doing. If he's not interacting with his audience, if he's not if he's not funny, if he's boring like I am, then nobody's going to want to watch that. So it's it's not the same. You're not copying.
Yeah.
You're doing it your way, and so that's just got to be authentic. You just got to be you, and people will come watch.
And just like with the branching out to doing court cases, with us doing court cases every day, 5 days a week at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you tune in. You can enjoy that too.
Yeah.
We build that up, and now we're building up we got a case channel. Creed's a huge gambler. So we got a jackpot. He loves to get on there. And it's not just him watching him gamble and things like that. He's trying to also at the same time teach people, don't believe this because you've seen this in a YouTube video. There's people out there playing with fake money and things like that. So don't go and plunk your hard-earned money into this and thinking you're going to win when he shows you that he loses a lot. It's not like he's sitting there, look at these jackpots, I'm rich. He loses a lot of times he's losing. So, he gets those jackpots, but at the same time he loses a lot and he's showing people the real side of that. So, and poor sports is something that I used to do with Bishop. Bishop was still is a huge part of my life. He's my brother. A lot of people didn't know that. For many years we worked in radio together, and that was like the huge secret that me and Bishop are actually brothers. So, I enjoy doing poor sports where we just take and put together some of the most outlandish sports you've never heard of, from Barbie Jeep racing to women's sumo wrestling to slap fighting, which I was involved with, that before it really took off. Good friends with the people over there at Slap Fight Championship. Shout out to JT. But, it's again, just our take on what's going on, no matter what it is. If it's the poor sports stuff, if it's the car chases, we got a mystery, which is another show we do on Creedence and Bishop Show channel. We'll every once in a while we're like, you know what? Let's do a mystery show. Our friends over at Scary Mysteries allow us to use their content for us to do our own reaction and commentary and things like that with it. We used to do a show called Voyeur Voyage. Real quick, the roots of that was that we used to do a show called We Gotta Hang Out, where we would just go and we'd search the internet live, just go from place to place trying to find things to watch. And, looking at live cams across the world and stuff like that, just trying to find content. Yeah. And we stumbled across a website called Spied Life. And Spied Life was an Italian box show. Now, I know what you're saying, Mikey. What is an Italian box show? Well, that's a reality show to me and you. Basically, people would put cameras in their homes, and you would just watch these people in their homes. They knew the cameras were there. They were being paid and everything. It wasn't like that kind of cameras. It wasn't nudity or sex or anything like that going on. It was just straightforward people in their homes. Yeah. So, we decided one day, I thought, let's watch this. They all spoke, Italian or whatever. They did. None of them spoke really any English. And so we would give the people names. We didn't know their real names. We'd give them backstories. We would say things like, oh, wow, they did this for this reason and this for this reason. And people just loved it. Just loved it, loved it, loved it. Unfortunately, the website went under. Oh, no. But we did probably like 200 shows, I would say, of Voyeur Voyage. I have content-wise, we probably got like 2,500 show videos on our channel right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what the limit is. I don't know if YouTube's going to tell me one day you're using way too much storage. You got to delete some of those. They will never
tell you that.
But right now, eventually one day, I feel like at least a 0.001% of YouTube will be my videos, because I will take up, just so much space. Me and Creed are just going to continue to do these shows and doing thousands of shows that eventually, will get noticed somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, is that for everybody? No, but, we just do so much content. I don't know. Is it a good idea, a bad idea? I don't know. I can't get nobody to give me an answer on that. I've asked the vidIQ. I've asked all these other places. Nobody can give me a straight answer if we're doing too much or what. Yeah. I don't know. It's just the continuation.
And you're having fun. I think that's the two things. If you're having fun, that's probably the most important, because if you're not, you're going to burn out. And because that happened to me last year. I'm like, I was trying so hard to get out lives and recorded videos every week and do everything. And finally, I just couldn't do it. And I said, you know what? I enjoy doing the live show the most. I have so much fun. I enjoy the audience and the great community that I've built here. And so that's just fantastic. I love doing that. And I'll still do a recorded video periodically, but it's not a big priority for me because I have a day job. And so it takes a lot of my time. and this is just something that I truly enjoy. And so I want to be here, and you guys, it looks like you guys are having so much fun. And so, I mean, it's definitely obvious that you are, and your audience, your community can tell, and you're like, so that's just fantastic. Though I am sad that the Italian show is gone, because
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
you would love
genius.
that.
I love
You
that.
would
I'm
have
like, man,
loved
that's
that.
great.
Yeah.
It's
And
like,
it's one of those things where we try to continue to think of new ideas and concepts of what we want to do. Who says you can't do something like that? Who
yeah,
says, there's a market for everything. If you do it right, there's a market for everything. I feel like I could be
yeah.
wrong, but I feel like there is. I really feel like there is.
It's like Big Brother DIY edition. Bring your own
Yeah.
camera. Here we go. Come watch.
What is too much? What is too little? Who knows? Again, I wish people would step outside the box a little bit more.
Yeah.
I really do, because I feel like it would be so much more fun if you could just step right outside that box. Hey, Sharon and Rick, good to see you guys. Just step out, do something a little different. Push yourself. Don't be afraid. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't go into this feeling like, oh, I'm going to fail, because you might. But what is failure? What's a big channel on YouTube? What's a small channel on YouTube? I don't know. You get the idea that, one day I'm sure we'll get to 20,000 subscribers. How long? It might take us 5 years. I don't know. We're 11,000 now. Who knows? But, at that point, are we a big channel? Are we a small channel? You never know, because you can't judge what is, the measuring stick that YouTube uses, or society, or everybody in general cannot tell you where your place is in this content creating world.
Yeah.
You will, at the end of the day, if you're happy and you've made somebody else happy, or you've helped somebody in some sort of way, that's the win. That's where you're at. That's when you've got to where you need to be, and everything else will fall in line. If you quit your channel the next day and you just look back fondly on it 5-10 years from now, or show your friends or whatever, that's where the reward comes. That's the payday. That's all the accolades you'll need. If 20 years from now I'm rotting in the ground somewhere, and my family comes back and watches these shows and laughs, and is able to be here, be in in the moment again, why not? Why not? As long as people are having fun, why not?
Yeah. Anna's got an interesting question, so I want to put that. She wants to know, what if I do content in English and Spanish in the same channel? And I was going to say, Mr. Beast does separate channels for other languages. He actually has, of course, he can afford to pay somebody to dub the other languages, and he'll release like Mr. Beast Spanish edition and that type of thing. If you go search for it, you can find them. So, I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, you're doing Italian and English.
Yeah, I had seen not too long ago, they were supposedly YouTube was going to start utilizing a way where it would take your videos and translate it into other languages. An AI would take it and translate it. And especially if you were, trying to expand into another market. I mean, I think somebody said India is like the largest consumer of videos on YouTube, which is another thing. I spend way too many times on analytics and stuff like that. Can you branch out to them? Sure. But if your audience really wants, if you're trying to, I don't know what your content is. I don't know if you're trying to teach Spanish or teach English, or you're just trying to make sure everybody understands you. I think that's a daunting task to go in like that.
It is. Her channel's faith-based, so yeah. My original thought, I don't have any evidence to back this up on us, so I'd have to do the research for that. But my gut says your best bet is to do a version in English,
two separate videos,
and a version in Spanish, and I would do them on separate channels. I would. I think that 100%. I think that would be.
Don't be afraid to start an English language channel and a Spanish language channel, and give them the same content that you want to, instead of trying to combine it into one. Because a perfect example, We do a lot of court cases. There are times when they have to bring in an interpreter. And if you don't speak Spanish, or you're somebody who speaks Spanish and don't speak English, say you're watching something, you have to sit through the time it's going to take to get to where what you're trying to find out, that time could be utilized. And the time that people are giving you that are watching your content is so valuable. They may only have 5 minutes. They may only have 2 minutes, whatever amount of time they have. You need to give them the maximum amount of content for that person. Because if they're having to sit through or they're having to skip ahead to get to this, that, or the other in the language they need, I think you're really missing out on maximizing the amount of time that people are consuming your content. I think that, like we said, have a channel that's in Spanish, have a channel in English, and that way I think it will make all the difference in the world. I think you will see a lot more success that way than doing it all on the same video. But that's just my opinion.
No, I agree with that as well. Because, yep. Anyway, crazy computer. Anyway, yeah. So I'm always like just trying to think what's gonna just the process, and I mean every week you got all this prep time that I have to do. Like for example, like now looked up and.
How long does it take you to get ready to do a show like this? Yeah, not long, right? Can't be too long, right?
Well, I overthink the show.
There you go.
And I probably spend at least an hour and a half or more. I also, so here was the crazy thing is that I have booked out all the way through March.
I heard you say that, yeah.
But then I came back and said, what the heck? I don't have maybe on February 7th. So I don't know how I did that. And luckily I had talked to you and you said, hey, I'll come on your show. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
So I don't know how I did that, but I successfully managed to book out past. But somehow my calendar went looking like, wait, who the heck's my guest on Tuesday night? Oh, wait, I don't know where my guest is. Okay. And so
I was second best. I was a last minute.
That spot was saved for you. I just hadn't.
It was meant for me. You just didn't know it.
I hadn't met you yet. So that's why it's like perfect. I got to get Mikey on the show, man.
Stars aligned. There they were.
It did. The stars aligned. So, yeah, people want to know. They don't know how you find the things that you find. So
I spend hours. I mean, hours digging through, getting past all the videos we already watched.
Yeah.
And just mixing up keywords and just it shouldn't make any difference. Just taking 3 words and just changing up the order that they're in gives me different videos than the ones I had just run the other way. It makes no sense how any of it's done. It's almost like magic. It's almost like Mikey lays down and goes to bed at night. All these little elves come in, they make shoes and they build all the chase lists for me. So, that's where, good to see you, Albie Joshin.
Yeah.
But it is a lot. Oh, the blood melons. Yeah. Blood melons. The story with that real quick. If you're ever watching our show and people start putting up watermelons or cantaloupes or talk about blood melons, there was a chase, I watched the videos somewhat. I don't want to watch the entire video because I'd like for my reaction to be as genuine as humanly possible. So I'll make sure there's a beginning. I'll make sure there's an end. And then I'll just kind of look in the middle and say, okay, this needs to come out. This is too much, too long, whatever. We'll cut that down. And I played a video for the audience. We were watching it. And this guy was running from the police. And there was like literally hundreds of like cantaloupes or honeydew melons, whatever they were, just littering the sides of a train track. And I'm like, why are there so many melons? This is so bizarre. Because you see some of the craziest things there in these chases. And something happens where he may or may have not been pew-pewed. I know YouTube has a problem with that, but you say pew-pew when you're referring to certain things. And ever since then, we're like, we were looking at it like, did he really get pew-pewed or not? I can't tell, but somebody's like, look, there's blood on the melons over there. I said, okay, maybe he did. But I'm sure, like Phil Army, I will say this now, he was fine. No one was hurt. He was fine. He shook it up, he rubbed a little dirt on it. He was good to go. So anytime that there may be, we'll say, something really bad happens, people will say, oh, melon alert, it's coming, you better watch out, there's a melon, and it's just one of those many small things that we have taken. There's like Creedframe. Creed has computer issues. His computer will freeze up middle of the show, and when it started doing that, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was like, great, the video has stopped, he stopped, what am I going to do? There's 400 people here. What am I going to do with these people? So in my mind, I was sitting there, I was like, thinking about, the old, was it Jay Giles band?
Yeah.
Freeze frame, freeze frame, So in my mind, I was like, we'll just call it Creedframe, or we'll just say Creedframe, and we'll show a picture of Creed, and you'll hear me say Creedframe, whatever. And so it became a joke, it became a running joke that we're doing this. We're turning a huge technical issue into a running joke. It's like, we're going to turn these lemons into lemonade, kids. So, again, when you're dealing with a live audience and you're doing those kinds of things, don't panic. That's the last thing you want to do. Don't panic. So you'll hear me banter to the people. I'll hit the old Creedframe video. I'll banter a little more. And I'm like, all right, this is the third one. You better be here by this next one. And it's it's ingrained in the minutia that is the show. It's most people be like, oh, that's so unprofessional. It probably is. I'm not promising you professionalism. I'm trying to entertain you. At the end of the day, I'm not teaching you anything. We might learn a little something, but I'm not trying to teach you anything. I'm trying to entertain you. I want you to be here. We're working in a space, we're in the category of entertainment. We're not in that category of news and politics. We're not in any of those. This is meant for entertainment only.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, roll with it. Make the best of a bad situation, but never ever panic, especially during a live stream. Try to not dead air. People's like, you guys talk too much. Yeah, we come from a business where dead air is bad. It's awful. Yeah. If there's silence, you're in trouble. Georgia, good to see you, Georgia. Glad you're here. But it's it's crazy. It's a crazy, crazy ride. If you get on it, you better be ready. Strap in.
I just want to
thanks, George.
Yeah. I just want to thank everybody that's out there tonight that's coming and hanging out with us. So we've had a really awesome time. So, I mean, I know you mentioned this earlier. You kind of dread the thought, but you're always thinking ahead 2 days. What's next for your channels? And then
that's a good question, because I was thinking about that before we did this. It's like, where do I want to be? Say 5 years from now, where do I see things being? I want to continue to build more channels, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I could see us having 10 channels.
Wow.
Could we program 10 channels? Yeah, absolutely. Because I could program 1 a day or 2 a day and do it just the same as we are now. But people rely on us in a way. We get a lot of email from people saying that we've helped them through a tough time, through the loss of a loved one, or through a sickness, or maybe they've just been down and depressed, and that this silliness that we do means so much to them that they're sad when it's not on. They look forward to it. It's their daily routine. I couldn't just get up and leave. Even if we had 1 million subscribers tomorrow, I still would want to make sure that those people that are counting on us to be there, we're a small channel. But when it means so much to somebody that they take the time to sit down and write and send you a letter and appreciate you, and it means the most to them, You got to be there for them. You got to continue on. You've got to continue to grow. Uh, what's next? What's not next? We can do anything. We really can. I feel like we have the ability. Are we talented? No, but we're hard workers,
Yeah.
and that comes through.
Yeah.
We don't mind laughing at ourselves. We don't mind. We don't mind. Giving each other a hard time. But at the end of the day, it's about these guys. It's about this core audience of people who enjoy being there, and it means the world to them. And because of that, we'll never stop. I won't. They'll probably have to pull us out of here from being old dudes talking to 3 people by then. Everybody be died off or whatever. I don't know. But we will not stop. Vacations. We try to at least get 1 vacation a year. We do try and do that, but that's tough. And like I said, we're like tow truck drivers. We're on call 24 hours a day. You never know when a chase is going to kick off, and you got to jump out of bed in your drawers and throw on a shirt and run out here and get everything fired up and going. So it's gonna be a lot. We've been doing it 2 years solid now, pretty strong 2 years, and maybe we'll be we'll be something someday. We'll grow up and we'll be big kids. You never know. Or we just, like I said, tomorrow might the computer quits working and the show's over. But I hope not. We're gonna build. We're gonna continue to build, and it's an adventure. We'll see where it takes us. You don't know. And that's what part of being a content creator is. You don't know where you're going to end up tomorrow. Just don't.
You hinted that you were working on other channels. Is it too early to reveal?
Yeah. It's too early. Yeah. Okay. I've talked to Creed. I think Creed and maybe 1 or 2 other people know the next thing I want to work on. And you talk about the amount of work that's going to go into this. It'll be the next thing I want to do will be more work than all these channels put together. I think. Wow. I think it's going to be the most challenging thing that I have taken on as far as doing something like that. It might not never. I mean, if it becomes to the point, I might not never be able to get it off the ground. We'll see. It's one day at a time. Just one day at a time.
You've got an amazing audience. I know they'll support you, so I think that would be really cool. Definitely. I was gonna say the other thing that might be interesting for you is doing remote production for others. Have you thought about that? I mean, maybe that's not as fun. I don't know if you like the technical side of things. I know you took a while to get up to speed on things, and we all do because YouTube is
it's constantly changing. Yeah,
it's constantly changing. Oh, everybody run and go do this. Like you were talking about earlier. Oh, we got to have tags. Used to be tags were the most important thing in the world, at least according to vidIQ and TubeBuddy. And now it's like, no, I don't need your stinking tags. I know what your video's about. Because it's creepy because YouTube can tell what your video is about. It literally streams through your video. It creates, closed captions for you. It knows if you smile, if you don't smile. It knows what your channel's about. So that's why, with the exception of thumbnails and titles and descriptions, those things still have value. It's like YouTube doesn't need you otherwise. It would know whether it should recommend you or not. Because like so and so watched this video about car chases. Well, I gotta it's gonna recommend it to your channel. So that's.
I mean, in the beginning, I haven't had nobody ask me in a while, but people who knew I used to work in radio and things like that. The main core of the things I would do for the show was I did all of the producing. I would do all the booking of guests. I'd get us products to give away. I would, get all that, work out our schedule and everything. So, I had some people want me to help them like book celebrities and things like that on their channels and stuff. And, I know some people, but it's a matter of, I don't know how that really works anymore. I booked guests. I'm a huge horror fan. So when we first started doing Creedence and Bishop Show, I was booking Kane Hodder, who played Jason in many Friday the 13th movies, Bill Moseley. I know a lot of different people for those kinds of things, but to do work for other people, I don't know. I'd want to try and probably put 100% into that. And I don't know if I have another 100% I can spare. So I don't know. I mean, I would love to help other people. It's just a matter of, do I have, what do I have to offer? Yeah. We'll see. We'll see down the road.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Anything you want to shout out about about your channels and stuff?
No, not really. I mean, I know the links are down below for our different channels. If you've never been there, give it a chance.
Hit those
Just
links.
check it out. It might be for you, it might not be for you, and if it's not, it's all right. I promise, it'll be okay. But give it a chance. Enjoy. If you enjoy a good community and a lot of fun, and not to take us too seriously. And some things we say, aren't meant to be taken seriously. It's character work. I tell Creed all the time, this is character work. So check it out. We'd appreciate it. And hopefully if you're on a journey, best of luck to you, because you're going to need it.
Yeah. And for those that are new to my channel each week, we talk about content creation. I have different content creators on here. We talk about how to do this. I do a lot of how-tos and demonstrations and stuff, and bring on folks that are out there doing this stuff. And so that's why it made sense to bring Mikey on with 5 channels. I've had a lot of people say, should I have more than one channel? And I guess that's my final big question is, when do you decide that you need a second channel? I think you kind of covered that already for your use case, but do you think that kind of applies to everybody when you think you want to pivot and do something different? What makes
make sure you've got a good grasp on the first channel before you go and build anything. And if you're doing like us, where you're basically diversifying each element, of the channel, so that YouTube can just get a better idea what you're doing, because of, in a beautiful world, we'll do everything on one channel, and YouTube would be able to get us to each and every one of those niches, because YouTube loves niches and loves to just get you to your niche. And you should always have a niche. You got to know who are you talking to when you're talking to them. I'm talking to everybody, but you might not be. You might be just talking to crocheters or quilters or whatever. Make sure you got that one channel, a good grasp on that, and your routine. You know that you can do it with your eyes closed. Then branch off if you want to do something completely different. Otherwise, just test market it. Do it on your other channel, test it out, see if you like it. And if you think it's got enough legs to stand on its own, then bring it out and make it its own thing. But it's not for everybody. I would say, be ready, have a lot of free time. Make sure if you have children, make sure they're at least 20 years old before you do anything like this. And support. Make sure you got a good support system around you too, because at the end of the day, when you're spending, your free time in your studio, you want to make sure that you got a good support system that's, got your back and things like that, because that, you need a good support system at home as well. So that'd be my advice.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. All right. So you guys, your homework after you hit that subscribe button for me and hit that like button is to go and visit all of Mikey's links, which are in the description below, because I want to make sure you guys go, and if you somehow don't know how fantastic his show is, click on one of those links. I promise you'll
thank
be
you so much, Roy.
Enjoy that. And so thank you. See, I'm supposed to do other stuff. Let's see. If you want to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee, which unfortunately my name is too long for them, so I had to go Tech Trouble MKR over there. It's like Twitter. Twitter won't let me buy that extra vowel. Those 2 vowels I need to make my name Tech Troublemaker like it is everywhere else. Hit that subscribe button. And that's it. That's our show. Everybody have a wonderful night. All right. Mikey, wave bye. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Here's the outro. And thanks, everybody, for coming. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat. Guys, I'm glad you came. And I'm sorry I can't show like everyone because, man, it just blew up tonight on us. So here's the outro. Bye.
Bye.